It's Monday afternoon, June 12th. You are listening to Weather with Enthusiasm. Very strong storm system located in the Midwest heads east today, bringing widespread rain to the Pennsylvania area and areas east. We have a possible tropical storm being monitored in the Caribbean and the Gulf. Amazing. It's only June. AP News tells us that India and Pakistan brace for severe cyclone and deploy rescuers. India and Pakistan are bracing for this year's first severe cyclone, expected to hit later this week. From the Arabian Sea, Cyclone Biparjoy, Biparjoy, aims at Pakistan's Sindh, Sindh province and the Indian state of Gujarat. It could make landfall on Thursday with maximum wind speeds of up to 124 miles an hour. It's Monday afternoon, June 12th. Today's the anniversary of when a strong Bermuda high took over the East Coast and the Midwest in 1994, June 12th, which began many days, consecutive days of temperatures in the 90s and hundreds. But today in Dallas, Texas, we have some very intense weather developing, and later on this week, we're going to have a very intense heat head into Texas, including Dallas. Temperatures are expected to go into the hundreds on Friday. The very intense high pressure ridge of 590 decimeters in the 500 MB layer of the atmosphere, which is about halfway into the atmosphere. So the height, 590, is very high, which is indicative of the air is expansive, and that's something which occurs during heat waves. You have 590 decimeter heights that occurs during heat waves, and that's what's going to be hitting Dallas, Texas Friday night. And that's going to be over there for Saturday and Sunday. The National Weather Service tells us that a brief cool down is possible along the Red River Sunday evening, but the heat will then return quickly for the early part of next week. They also tell us that temperatures will be in the hundreds even before the 590 decimeter gets there Friday night. Temperatures are forecasted to go into the hundreds on Friday, but especially on Saturday and Sunday as well, despite that cool down Sunday evening for areas by the Red River. Heat advisories will likely be needed for that area, and for places like in St. Louis, there's a lot of question as to what will be happening. You know, we could be seeing actually cooler temperatures for next week, or we could be seeing warmer temperatures. The National Weather Service does not know. But something which is a lot more serious will be happening this evening between 5 and 7 p.m. as the triple point develops in that area within the county warning area for Dallas, Texas. The triple point, which is where you have the dry line, you have the dry air collides with the moist air right by the pocket of cold air, which is the low pressure. That's where you get tornado activity is most intense in that region. If storms develop and if they reach heights of 700 MB, tornadoes, supercells right away up the rotating supercells will be the initial development of these storms. That's what the National Weather Service tells us. The storms will continue in many locations into the night, although those storms are not expected to be severe. Storm training is expected, especially along the Red River, bringing perhaps 2 to 4 inches of rain. There could be some storms which will remain below severe limits tomorrow morning, but another round of storms comes in tomorrow afternoon. And as usual, the intensity of those storms will be dependent upon how far south the cooler air makes it in tomorrow morning in those storms. How far south the cooler air from tomorrow morning makes it from the outdraft. Now, what is somewhat unique about today's possible tornadic activity is that these rotating supercells are expected to also be occurring even in the cooler air north of the front. We have a stalled front This is in addition to the dry line. We have a stalled front over the Texas area, and it's going to be moving back and forth. Generally, it will be south of Dallas. It will be along Dallas, perhaps on Wednesday, and then that front finally pushes north, and we have the hot air on Thursday. It gets hot, well into the 90s, but there still is a chance for storms. By Friday, temperatures get hotter. The confidence in those hundreds become higher for Saturday. So we have hundreds in the forecast for Friday, but I believe higher confidence in the hundreds for Saturday. And Sunday, I think there's also high confidence on Sunday, despite the evening cool down. So that's something that people in Dallas, I bet there's a lot of people there who look forward to this. This is people who were born there. This was their childhood summer experiences of hot weather. So it's finally here, where temperatures going into the hundreds down south. I don't think we've had that yet. I think we've had cooler air down south, and the hot air has been up in the north, and we finally will be seeing things which look a little bit more normal for the end part of this week. But the situation until then is actually not a normal weather pattern for June. The jet stream is much stronger than what the norm would be, and that's likely contributing to the severe weather chances. And even if there are no tornadoes, which there may not be, but large hail to baseball size is also a possibility in that area. For other parts of the Midwest, we'll see a return of humid air for those places that will be getting the humid air, probably by Thursday and then into Friday and Saturday. And until then, a warming trend, but the moist air from the Gulf of Mexico stays south of that front, which is over Texas, and it also extends into Mississippi. Once that front pushes north, I guess Thursday, that's when it's going to be happening. That's when the moist air will be allowed to move all the way up north. We even have some forecasts indicating dew points may hit 70 degrees again in the state of Minnesota by the end of this week. And interestingly, we have forecast models showing dew points hitting 80 degrees in Arkansas, Mississippi, even parts of South Missouri for the end of next week. But that is a far way off from now. But those dew points are just mind-boggling high. We have seen that happen before, but we'll see what happens. It is a far way off. I wish everyone a great day and enjoy the awesome summer weather that will be taking place at the end of this week. And for those that don't like summer weather, enjoy the cooler weather that we have for the beginning of the week. You've been listening to the podcast Weather with Enthusiasm. Special guest on our show. What is your name?
Sweden.
Temperatures going into the low hundreds for the next 3 days.
Holy cow!
The blackberry winter, that comes up every year here in the Midwest on May 11th. Several additional feet of snow is expected by Monday morning. This was in the forecast from a week ago, and the National Weather Service is finally acknowledging it today. Conditions are favorable for the development of an El Niño. We're going from one extreme to the next extreme. Despite the fact that it's 113 during the day and 46 at night, you could still do a little dance. Recorded temperatures during heat bursts have reached well above 104 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
Google Weather with Enthusiasm, and they're all going to come up.
Meteorologist Simcha left. Weather with Enthusiasm is his podcast.